Litmos Heroes, saving the world from boring learning.
Good morning everyone, and thank you for joining us on our webinar today on how to shift your learning culture through digital transformation. Now, if you've known us for a while, you'll know that we don't usually follow the crowd. We've been disruptive and definitely don't jump on bandwagons for the sake of it. So when you saw digital transformation today, it's a possibility you may have been hoping for a few things. For the love of God, tell me what digital transformation actually is. What does it include and all of that? Or maybe a step-by-step guide on how to drag your organisation kicking and screaming through digital transformation we've all been hearing about. Or maybe you wanted to be on the ball with what digital transformation actually means for you and your employees. Well, hopefully we will cover off some of those points, but there's a much more pressing point about what digital transformation actually is. Just like with every buzzword ever, in fact, using the word gamification made you cool in 2008. It gives those who use it some kind of power. This is always the case with buzzwords. Placing them in a conversation makes you look like you know what you're talking about. But we're almost 10 years down the line and people are still discussing the impending gamification of learning. Like digital transformation, guess what? It's actually already here, it's happening. So assuming we need to actively do something to change our culture could actually be counterproductive. So we've got a few here which you might recognise, which you might actually use yourself, or you find people using them in your organisation. So evergreen. This is a great one. We use it to explain something that we want to last forever, something that will stand the test of time. But nothing in the learning world will ever stand the test of time. Really, it won't. Things change all the time, and this word definitely needs to be booted out of your vocabulary if you're explaining a new learning technology. As soon, its time will be up and you'll be looking for the next everlasting product. So boot that one out. Empower, yeah. So I don't even know how this is a 21st century concept, to be honest. How on earth can you assume that you give people power? That just means it's been taken away in the first place. Not necessarily by you, but if you ever want to empower your people, just don't use the word empower. You're giving them an opportunity to learn and develop themselves. So the worst sentence you could ever say is, we want to empower our people to seek out learning. If you look at your current culture of learning and moving towards something more self-directed as your goal, focus on ease of use, focus on accessibility, and focus on how marketable this new digital product is within your organisation. Remove the empowerment and get on the same level as your employees would be the best start. So buy-in. Now, I'm sure we're all guilty of actually using this word, stakeholder buy-in, learner buy-in, etc. But instead of just holding meetings with said demographic of people and calling that buy-in, we really need to make sure that people approve, get them to ask questions and test these new products. Get end users to trial the new technologies. I know from speaking to many of my clients and prospects, end users often get overlooked in the purchasing journey. So I ask you, if you're running pilots of a product, have you included a varied range of end users with different levels of capability as well, because you don't want everybody who's really, really good at tech wizardry and say, yeah, this is really good and it's going to land really well. And if you're not using those end users with those different levels of capability, then I would implore you to start doing it. Your feedback might look a little bit different, but really, then we'll have that buy-in that we were all looking for. So, so ducks in a row. This one makes me laugh. Do you have your ducks in a row? Because I certainly don't have mine in a row, and to be honest, I don't really have any ducks. So let's not talk about them. I'm going to link this one to actually having a plan. So a digital transformation strategy, if you like, but it's really just a project plan that's worth its weight. As with any form of change management, the behavioural change of our people is the most important thing to ultimately produce results. There's no point investing thousands into a new technology when the actual behaviours that need to alter have not been mapped out. This will always start with a communication strategy. Personally, I've worked one up that I give to all the Litmos Heroes customers to support the rollout of our product. So obviously it's not one size fits all, but there are recommendations in there to ensure communication on all levels throughout your organisation. So I know plenty of our customers are on the call, so thank you for dialing in, guys. So if you already haven't had access to this, then please do let me know, and we can really make sure that you're getting the best possible impact out of the product, because with a great plan, I'm sure all our ducks will just sort themselves out. So there's one that I haven't put on the screen here, but it's definitely something that that's quite funny in terms of, let's take this offline. So it's just another way of avoiding discussing something at the time. Nothing to do with the internet, obviously. And feedback would suggest that this is a surefire way to annoy somebody and make them feel like their point's not valid. I've had that feedback, people have said that, so this is something that I thought I'd bring to the table to you guys today. But it's the same as parking something. Surely a simple, that's a great point. I think we need more detail around it. Can we talk about it after this so I can give it my full attention? Everything about the way you talk to people gets cascaded through your business, about how we speak to people catch on to sayings. So your culture is completely reliant on what's happening at the top and how we start speaking to everybody. So use positive language. Anything that has the word off in there will make people feel exactly that. So a personal favourite of mine is definitely touch base. Like we're all one part of a massive baseball game or something. So let's just use a good old-fashioned word talk. I'm going to talk to Jeffrey about it rather than touch base with him. Again, it's all about communication and ensuring that everyone who should be involved in deciding to get a new technology embedded into your business has their say and has the platform to do it from. And we've got a couple of others in there, gamification, which I mentioned before, which everyone's been talking about for the last 10 years, and also the word millennials. We're looking at a multi-generational business at the moment. Everybody is. So just focusing on one demographic of person is never going to be the way forward. And especially when I mentioned earlier about getting people buy-in and different levels of capability, this is where you've just got to go across the whole demographic, because this learning technology is not going to replace the people in your business. So what can we talk about today that will make sense in your own learning setting and actually help you to communicate to your learners? We need to recognise that digital transformation has been happening for a long time. In fact, it's been happening forever. The world around us is evolving into something more advanced than it was a decade ago, obviously. So if your business has got a calculator, then digital transformation has already begun. So why are we allowing people to scaremongers into creating a plan on how to deal with digital transformation? We should already have existing plans, business strategies, and a good old SWOT analysis to cope with business change. This digital transformation is the same as any project you've ever done or any new process you've ever introduced into your business. So to transform, you first need a business need, an issue that you need to address or something that will make your employees' jobs fantastically easy. So basically just a justification to introduce a change or, in fact, a new technology. Are we responding to a buzz that's going on social media and what the white papers are saying, or are we actually reflecting on what our current learning options are and introducing something that supports our employees to have more opportunities to learn? Firstly, have we asked people in our business that are the lucky recipients of this new digital technology if they know what digital transformation is, and if so, do they know they're in a period of transformation? They're just doing this, going about their jobs day to day. So if the answer is no to any of these questions, then we haven't done our first job, which is communicating to our employees. But in that sense, that raises the question, who are we actually doing this for? So are we doing it for our superiors? Are people on the exec level telling us that we actually need to introduce some new technology because that's where I think we are in the world and that's what we should do? Are we doing it for our competitors because they did? Our closest competitor introduced a fantastic new technology which they're raving about, but have they got the same culture as us? Do they have the same sorts of people? And are we just jumping on the bandwagon to impress them so we can talk about it at the next networking event? Which also brings us on to other people in the industry as well. So if we're talking about all these different theories out there about how to cope with digital transformation, other people in the industry want to talk about it, but are we actually talking about it, or are we just talking about a word? So if you've listened to any of my talks and webinars before, you'll know that I'm an extremely focused person on people, and believe that we can put all the technology in the world into an organisation, but if your people don't need it, want it, or have a clue how it can help them, it's wasted money, and you'll never actually get that ROI that you're desperately chasing. I'm absolutely not saying we ignore it and continue delivering ineffective ways of learning, but being sure that your current learning culture needs transforming is the first and only thing we should be considering as leaders in the learning world. So you might think, coming from a predominantly tech company, we'd be promoting digital transformation and all the benefits to your organisation. But we've been promoting the actual user benefit of our product rather than how it fits with the latest craze. So that's how we've appeared on the topmost 100 disruptive list and continue to delight our customers with a fresh approach to learning. We don't force it and say, this is what you need. We help them address the actual solution. So that's where I'd like to focus on our people. The people in our organisation we are providing these learning opportunities for. So let's consider doing things the opposite way around. So instead of going out to the market and seeing what new technologies are available and allow people to pitch to us on how they can make our lives easier, the first thing we need to be clear on is, what solution are we looking for? So we need to ask, what people do we have in our organisation? How are they currently learning? How do they respond to current learning opportunities provided? And do we have a problem that we need a solution for? Only at that point should we even consider developing the technology and having a look at our new budget, having a look what's out there and that fits with us. So I'd like to go on to one of our clients, Carpetright, actually won an award with us earlier in the year before our acquisition and changed to Litmos Heroes. So I just want to show you how we actually supported them through their own version of digital transformation, and let me know what you think.
We're part of the Carpetright Talent and Development team, and we'd like to tell you about the fantastic success we've had using the Learning Heroes film content in the launch of our new social learning platform.
9 months ago, we expanded our development team in Carpetright with the task of setting up a new learning system. This was to replace a number of outdated, difficult to access learning platforms that had old, boring, clicky content that was a chore to undertake.
As a result, colleagues weren't inspired to learn or improve their understanding of our products and systems. There was also a lack of behavioural training, zero in fact, to help them be the best they could be in their lives and careers.
So with a huge challenge ahead to create a range of bite-sized, engaging training that would fit with the social learning approach, we set about finding a like-minded company that felt the same way as us about learning. That is, it should be fun. And Learning Heroes came to our rescue, as only heroes can. The range of videos offered complemented our style and approach and the content we were creating, and we signed up faster than a speeding bullet. A few months later, our new social learning platform was born. The Learning Heroes content played an integral part in helping us to launch so quickly because we were able to provide engaging, informative learning on a range of subjects with witty, to-the-point learning animations in a modern format. It gets to the point of the topic quickly, grips you along the way and leaves you with a lasting message and desire to go out and apply it in the workplace. From the outset of the launch, we set about promoting it with an emphasis on the benefits of taking control of your own learning, how learning can happen at any moment in any place, and the benefits of development, both for the business and for us as individuals.
And it's worked. Our colleagues went from the disillusioned to the inspired.
Colleagues and teams across our business now have access to learning content that's available anytime, anywhere, and most importantly, when it suits them.
It's fun, so they come back again and again to see it, use it, like it and share it.
We're starting to hear it too. When someone suggests you watch a video as it might help them, you know it's starting to make a difference.
And now we're starting to see our own learning heroes who work together to be the best they can.
Since we've launched, we've had over 18,000 views, which is heroic learning at work.
The bite-sized animations are now helping to develop all our colleagues to become great communicators and to learn new ways of thinking, team working, objective setting, giving feedback, and how to be mindful and inspirational leaders, among many others. And as a result, Learning Heroes have become our heroes.
Here are some of the feedback comments we've had.
They look great, they're very animated, very engaging and informative.
The leadership videos on Learning Heroes are really interesting and they give you some really great tips. The really brilliant thing about the videos is that they're really nice and short, so no matter how busy your day is, there's always time for Learning Heroes.
It's short, sharp video clips, just like if you were going on YouTube, and if you're a busy man like I am, you can dip in and out of it whenever you find yourself with a couple of minutes. It's really, really good.
I think the Learning Heroes is absolutely amazing. The way that it's short, sharp, bite-sized chunks for colleagues to take in and apply when they're on the shop floor to engage our customers in a different way. Spot on, well done.
So basically what that showed was Carpetright had their own challenges with disillusioned learners, and that we supported them to transform and massively increase engagement. But one of the things I'd really like to highlight is that they've seen some dramatic changes and that are seen to be a lot more digitalised. Had they gone through digital transformation? Yes. They had to plan for. Did they have to plan for years? No, to introduce, because we didn't introduce anything particularly digitally complex, and they didn't have to do any complex digital strategies to achieve happy people who are learning at every opportunity. So that was really, really good. And obviously, when we send that through to you, you'll see that. But what I was impressed to find out with Carpetright and what they did with our product was to find that they only used our videos and not actually our core products, which was the fully packaged e-learning SCORM files. So they found a solution and only used parts which fitted with how their people interacted with learning. And the outcome has been fantastic. So there's a lot of larger projects that would include years of planning, but then technology will always outrun us, and there will be the next big thing or buzzword by then. So another obstacle I know we often face is feeling siloed and not integrated into the core business. Many of my clients explain that they have a different LMS or platform or ways of working to the rest of the organisation, because L&D is seen as something different. So this is the biggest culture shift we need to push, if anything. It's the step towards integration with the full business, and it's linking up all of those departments. So a recent example I saw of a business escaping the feeling of being segregated was when the head of learning did a job swap with the head of health and safety. Now, don't ask me about logistics of it, and I'm sure nobody was at risk during this exercise, but nevertheless, they spent time in the other person's shoes, as he knew that if he didn't understand why they had different priorities, they would never be able to agree on a single solution in terms of a new employee interface that grabbed the attention and focus of all the employees across varying departments with very different focuses and priorities. Which leads me on to the notion that experience is the new battleground when it comes to learning, and we always start at the top. By demonstrating empathy and doing somebody else's role and feeling the demands of the role. It enabled my client to see where they could compromise and what was ultimately important to the business. The next steps after that exercise were encouraging, if not insisting, that other people did the same activity. So this created understanding, deepened important professional relationships as well, and gave everybody who took part a clearer, more fuller business focus. So what a culture shift that was, to experience things, to learn things about your business through a new set of eyes, and then to actually make a joint decision on what new technologies to develop and purchase as a result of that. So this can be considered twofold in my opinion, with encouraging your people to really explore the business in new ways. They may not need to make the final decision on your digital purchase or which new technology will be coming next, but what you can encourage is openness, allow that freedom for people to explore different roles, encourage questions to be asked. Not being afraid to be challenged and be asked why on our part as well. We want people to ask us why, because then we'll often question ourselves as well. So why are we introducing this? Why did we decide this as a business? Why are our people responding the way that they are? So as soon as we accept people will always be curious and want to know why, we're then shifting our culture into a more modern era, less autocratic and definitely more collaborative. That way we're leading the way and setting an example and creating a learning culture that people want to be part of. Then change of any sort is much more manageable and easy to keep track of in an ever-changing digital world. So I hope we've covered some things there which you can resonate with, especially coming from a learning kind of point of view, a behavioural point of view when it comes to digital transformation. So if you do have any questions, I will pass over to Ashley, and she can pass those through.
Yeah, if you guys just want to start firing the questions through, I've got first one from Matt Simsey, Danny. He's asking how our fire services or similar organisations engaging their staff in e-learning.
Yeah, we have quite a few fire services who are our clients at the moment, and we've had some really, really good engagement levels there. And I think where your question probably lies is how do you get people engaged who aren't necessarily static and they need to be accessible, like your learning needs to be accessible at all times. So the way that they're engaging is basically getting things on the phones as well, or in different areas. So there's obviously breakout areas and things like that. So we often provide infographics and things like that. So what they're doing is they're printing off those infographics and actually putting them in those sorts of areas. And then on top of that, if you have got any like TVs or anything in your communal areas, people are running the video files along with that. So like Carpetright did, they actually use the video files. So as part of like your Litmos Heroes subscription, you get access to thousands of videos. So and they're all in MP4 format as well. So you don't actually have to run them through a learning management system to actually get the full effect. So they're kind of going back to basics really, and that's where people are liking it. So we have had some really good feedback and actually some really good referrals in that sort of sector.
Okay, great. Does anybody else have any questions at all? Okay, cool. I think we'll just wait for 1 minute just to see if anyone else has anything to say. David Spacey made a really interesting point earlier in the chat, and he was basically agreeing with what you're saying, but he's commenting on the fact that we're not taking advantage of an investment in infrastructure, whether that be the digital landscape within a business or the infrastructure of an L&D department. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that there's absolutely more to be done if businesses are investing in technology to help modernize the business function as a whole, never mind L&D. There perhaps is more that we could be doing as an L&D department to maximize on that infrastructure modernization. Cool. Well, if nobody has any other questions, I guess I'll take the opportunity to thank everybody who joined us today. I hope you guys have a lovely day. I think that was a fantastic idea-inspiring webinar, Danny, and I think it just gives people a lot of food for thought around how they can start to approach digital transformation and should always be thinking about the needs of their learners first and foremost.
Thank you.
Great. Enjoy your day, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.